My attraction to wetlands started when I was a small boy. I remember when I was 8 years old, going to St James's Park and looking at the ducks that they had there and thinking, one day I'll see these birds in their natural habitats. I used to go home and write lists of all the birds that I can think of, and that was where I really began to get this real love for learning more about birds. I'm at the Arundel Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust Reserve here in West Sussex. Wetlands are my favourite habitat to watch birds because you just look out there, you don't have to try too hard because the birds are there, they're on the water, it's easy. We are going to be looking for a bird that's so familiar. It's called the mallard. Clean the slate, forget about all the things you might have thought about a mallard, and let's start again. The mallard, one of Britain's most readily identifiable birds. The male has this really beautiful bottle green head, yellow beak, and it's got a black rear, and if you look carefully just above its tail, it's got a little curly bit, which is the DA, which is what Elvis and all his boys had. They copied it because that was a style back then, and it's a style that the mallards had for eons. The female is a classic brown duck, but did you know that the quack, 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 which is the classic quacking noise of a duck, is actually the female? However, there is a period of time when the male goes into an eclipsed plumage, which is when they molt and at some point become flightless, and they adopt the plumage of the female, so they lose all their bright colours and become this kind of brownish bird. And that's when people don't realise that they're looking at males, even though actually they look very much like the females. It's really quite interesting watching the mating antics of the mallards, because sometimes there seems to be nothing going on. They're just sitting there preening or just having a little kip on the bank. Okay, we've got 2 males and 1 female, and both males I think are quite interested in that particular female. What happens is the birds pair up, they start displaying, and the males get their sort of bright plumage towards the end of the year, so November, December time. And come spring, as you can see, the pairs trying to form. There's females being escorted by, 1 or 2 or 3 males, and sometimes the males might fight each other to try and impress the female and try to keep the female. Sometimes the female can incite this violence by causing the males to fight, so she can suss out the male that she wants to be with, the one that's the victor. The males form groups, little gangs, that they go in search of unattached females, and they can forcibly mate with females. But researchers have found that the female has the last laugh, in that she only allows a male that she likes to actually fertilise her. Once they've mated, the female will then go on to make a nest and to lay eggs, and the male will take no further part in the rearing of the young. Part of the reason why the female is so dun-coloured is the fact that she, on a nest, can blend in with the background and is perfectly camouflaged. What I like about mallards is that when I was a young kid researching, I found that there were 31 different species of ducks that look like mallards, and it's the biggest and the most common in the world. It is the ancestor of domestic ducks and perhaps the most beautiful within its group.